Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth into Star Wars, talking about episode 4 of Andor on Disney Plus. As usual, spoilers ahead, watch the episode before listening to my thoughts. And with that being said, getting into the episode and you were warned. So, Luthen Rael. I like not knowing everything about him right off the bat. I like that he's still something of a man of mystery in this show. I really enjoy Star Wars characters that make you want to come back to that comic or that TV show or that series of novels. And I think Luthen, he fits that description to a T. We know pretty much what Andor does about him. We know what we need to know when we need to know it, and that's about it. So we know that Andor is being hired to steal a bunch of money. The entire quarterly payroll of an imperial sector. So we find that out as the episode commences. I like that Luthen gives Andor this Kuwati signet as down payment. It certainly makes me think of the planet Kuwat, as it's meant to. We read about Kuwat in Star Wars Legends. If you've read the Star Wars Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy, that features in there. And I mean, Kuwat's canon, as well as being in Legends in the past. Massive shipyards are associated with that planet. They produce Imperial Star Destroyers and other crafts. So maybe we'll be getting to see the planet of Kuwat at some point in live action. I really love shipyards. So, yeah, maybe so, maybe no. They're traveling aboard a Fondor hullcraft. So that, yes, makes me think of Fondor, another planet from Legends. We saw that quite a bit in Agents of Chaos 2. A New Jedi Order novel. Big battle fought on and above Fondor. And they also have shipyards. So I wonder if we'll be headed to one of those two places at some point. Maybe, maybe not. I'm saying probably not because they're not going to destroy the Imperial shipyards. They might try to launch an attack on there, but I don't know how successful they're going to be. I think they were still churning out ships by Return of the Jedi in canon too. But cool to hear about these two planets in passing anyway. So Andor, he gets dropped off on Aldhani and he meets Val. I'm thinking of these two quite a bit more because, well, it's a couple days after PulseCon, as this video is being filmed on another Andor Eve, as I like to call the day. Their action figures were just announced this past weekend in the 3 3/4 inch line. So yeah, I'm thinking about action figures as I'm filming this video. Cool that we're getting them. And I mean, she's not really trusting Andor that much, rightfully so. She doesn't know him. She's very afraid that this whole thing's going to go awry. But she does eventually welcome him to their little rebel cell. And I gotta say, I do enjoy the heist story. Not much action in this episode, but I really liked getting to know certain characters. I liked getting to go back to Coruscant, or Imperial Center as we should call it in this point of the timeline. They called it Imperial Center in Legends, so that's what I'm calling it here too. Thinking of the old X-Wing books. So we get to see the Imperial Security Bureau on Coruscant, and man, Major Partagaz has got his work cut out for these guys. He's got his work cut out for him, too. He's got to keep reminding them that the organization is quite a lot like healthcare. They're responsible for pinpointing a germ before a disease can spread, as it were. They got to root everything out, and he's trying to make sure everybody's on task. You have Dedra, a new female character that we're introduced to in this episode, and you have Blevin. And these two, Dedra and Blevin, there's quite a lot of friction between these two. They are at each other's throats. I can think of no other way to put it, but yeah, they're really going after each other in this episode, which is a really cool side of the Empire I like to see. I remember something Palpatine said in the Bounty Hunter Wars. It did relate to the Bounty Hunters, but I like to think it probably has something to do with Agents of the Empire as well. When you have tools in a toolbox, you want to make sure they're all sharp. So, I mean, always having to watch your back would probably be something Palpatine would want in canon as well. So you have Blevin, he's got to go to Ferrix and clean up the mess there that we saw in the last episode. So my question, what's going to happen to Inspector Hine, so on and so forth, that got answered real quick. So yeah, Blevin, he goes to Ferrix, and I love how he just dresses everyone down. He doesn't even give Inspector Hine a chance to speak. He's like, okay, you guys are all morons. You are no longer in control. The Empire is now taking permanent authority in this sector. And when Hine was trying to say things like, but I have a question, Blevin was like, no, you're not speaking. You go do this and you go do that. You're all morons. We're taking over now. This is our ball game. You've screwed up. And it's just a really interesting scene. I like that Hine, now he's kind of like, but I have to do my actual job and I don't wanna. That's what I took away from it anyway. Maybe we'll see him again, maybe we won't. I hope we see Linus again. I like the bond that was forged between him and Cyril in the last episode. Cyril, he goes to Coruscant. We get to see him going to, I guess, live with his mom, or maybe it's a little stint of leave or something like that. He's got to go to Coruscant. And man, Edie Karn, no wonder Cyril is the way that he is. Right when this woman sees her son, she slaps him, and then she gives him a hug. And I think, was it Kyle Solar who said that the character of Edie Karn is kind of like the stage mother from hell? Kind of the vibe I got when seeing this episode for the first time. No wonder Cyril is the way that he is. Just a constant ball of energy and anxiety and nerves. It's this woman right here who unexpectedly slaps her son. I'd like to think that when he was a kid, if he didn't make a high enough grade, he got a slap. If he even thought about backtalking her, or she considered that, she'd slap him. And it's not cool. No wonder Cyril is the way that he is. I like that little scene with them. And hopefully we'll be getting to see the mom from hell again in a future episode. I love that reaction when she saw the neighbor gawking there. She's like, what are you staring at? Before she, brought him inside. Jeez, man. I don't know about this woman. I think she's nuts. I don't know about you guys. So, yeah, we get to see Luthen go into Coruscant here. And man, I love getting to see Coruscant again. It's one of my favorite locations in all of Star Wars. So Luthen, he's got this big wardrobe that's on that ship. And I thought of Zartan from the old G.I. Joe animated series from the 1980s when Luthen was picking out the wig and the rings and stuff like that. I wonder how many other roles Luthen has played or that we might see him play. Couldn't help but think of Zartan when the description audio narration track was describing him practicing the walk, practicing the smile as he was, putting on the wig and the rings and things like that. Stepping back into a role that he's been playing for a while there. And I love seeing Mon Mothma again, too. It was cool when she showed up to Luthen's shop there. Of course, they were talking rebel business. They were being quite loud at one point, but of course they went off and talked about how Luthen was needing money for feeding mouths and all that, and Mon is saying how hard it is for her to pull funds. It's not as easy as it used to be. She feels like people are watching her, and she's understandably paranoid because, she has been against Palpatine since, before he took power, when she was doing the whole committee thing, the Loyalist Committee, before the events of Order 66 took place, as we watched in those deleted scenes from Episode 3. So cool to see that, and I'm wondering who the person is she's talking about bringing into the inner circle. Some people are thinking it's Bail, but it's Bail and her probably already communicate. I would think it's possibly some Bothan. I'm really hoping to see Borsk Phalia or Phylia, depending on how you want to pronounce that last name. I'm mispronouncing things now. Either Borsk or some other Bothan, because I really would like to see live-action Bothans in Star Wars at some point. And they got to be fuzzy too. Or maybe it's Akbar. In Legends, Akbar was a slave to Tarkin for a while before the rebels rescued him. I don't know if they'll go that way at all in canon, but I'm hoping it's somebody that we maybe haven't met yet. Maybe if not Borsk or Akbar, some other Bothan or Mon Calamari character. I don't know. But that was a pretty cool scene there. Some people said that something of Star Killers was there. I don't know if it's in this scene or what. Sam Witwer tweeted about sort of being in the episode. He posted a picture. I don't know what the picture was of because my screen reader didn't really narrate the image. It can't really narrate images. So anybody who knows what Sam's talking about, let me know. I'm curious to see what they snuck into the episode when it comes to visual Easter eggs, because the descriptive audio narration track doesn't have time to point everything out in the midst of all the character dialogue and things like that. So yeah, we get to see Mon later on. She's meeting with her horrible husband, man. This guy is gonna make her have dinner with Sly Moore and Ars Danger, and these guys are deep into Palpatine's inner circle. So now she's really got something to be paranoid about. Dinner with fun people, as her husband likes to call them. And I do not like Mon's husband. He's a piece of work. Maybe he'll grow on me over time. I don't know. I'm thinking Mon should maybe divorce him. I don't know. But yeah, he's got this dinner planned, and he says something like, "Oh, I wrote it on your calendar about a month ago. Don't you remember it?" And I'm thinking, did you really write it there a month ago? Or do you know that she's stressed out, and are you just gaslighting her, man? I don't know. I don't know about this guy. He seems kind of shifty, kind of wonky to me. If he were to, be in a certain Gorman massacre later on in the show, I wouldn't cry about him. I'll say that much. So that was a pretty interesting little scene there. Mon always having to look over her shoulder. I really want to see Sly Moore and Ars Danger show up in the show. Hopefully they're not just mentioning them to mention them. I want to see this dinner, and I want to see these two actually have lines and things like that. We did get to see Sly in, I think, episodes 2 and 3. I got to post her figure review on YouTube, by the way. That's been in the backlog for a little while. Might need to do that pretty soon if she shows up on Andor. So that's going on, of course. Andor, he is getting to know the rebels. They do eventually make it to the camp. Nobody seems like they trust him. And Andor, he has an unlimited amount of patience because you pretty much hear the same thing from everybody. Who is this guy? Why wasn't I told about this? Why should we trust him? But Andor, he's just there. He's there to do his job. He's there to get paid. And they're trying to plan how they're going to get beneath the garrison. They gotta infiltrate this vault, steal a bunch of money, get out under cover of basically a meteor shower. So they're all doing their homework. There's a rogue Imperial, I think he's a lieutenant, some kind of Imperial officer. He showed up on a speeder bike at one point, and I was thinking, is he possibly a double agent? He's probably fine. I don't know. I just don't really trust Imperials that much. So that's going on. I mean, it was a really cool episode. I would have to say I would give it, I guess, a 10 out of 10. Quite a few interesting scenes with characters. Oh, yeah. And I love the bits with Dedra and Blevin later in the episode. She's wanting to get that Star Path unit back. Blevin, he's commandeered it, and it's within her jurisdiction, so she's kind of having a little spat with him about it. Major Partagaz has to get involved, and he's like, look, you need to be doing your job. You need to be doing your job. We're supposed to be vetting verifiable information. Dedra, don't you go on feelings alone. I need facts from you. But at the same time, Dedra's like, yeah, but this thing's been stolen in this sector. That thing's been stolen in that sector. I'm telling you, there's something brewing here. My gut tells me something's going on. He's like, no, I need the information first. So, I mean, I understand what he's saying on one hand, but I do think there's something to Dedra's gut instinct there. And, of course, no one is listening to her about what she's thinking. But that's really cool that that Partagaz wants information right there. He wants it in, documentation. He wants something he can see. He wants something that can be verified, and that's understandable too. Really cool to see this side of the Empire. Anything I'm forgetting? I don't think so. I guess I'll have to talk about it in the next video. We'll be talking about, well, I don't know what the episode's called because it hasn't aired yet. As I said, I'm filming this on Andor Eve of episode 5. So yeah, talking about episode 5 next time. May the Force be with you, and I'll hear you later.